But if anyone...
There's so many benefits.
Right, but if
to having
anyone,
a day.
according to you, can identify as a woman, anyone can, right?
I don't see a problem with
Just literally put the hand up and say, I'm a woman.
But it's not an easy thing to do, to go out into
Actually,
the world.
it's
very easy.
Very easy.
You might think it's easy to say, but to decide to do that, to say,
What
this
does
is
doing
who,
it involve?
whatever that person decides, but to
Does
go
it
out
involve
into the
makeup?
world and say, I don't identify as perhaps the sex I
So
was
why
born
can't
as.
I
It's
identify...
not-
OK, why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Piers Morgan cuts through the woke fog, exposing the absurdity of self-identity without limits.
Well, firstly, I mean, it was...
Well, I'm serious. If I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I, on International Women's Day, say, I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
I think taking it to a kind of absurd status,
I think
we're
that's
talking about quite a
with
strong
respect, I think
physical
that
change.
you'd already opened the absurdity door by saying it is limitless. You can do what you like. Anyone can say, I'm a woman. So I simply ask you, why can't I?
With a sharp wit, Piers drives the point home, turning the logic of limitless identity claims into an undeniable farce.
I mean, this point kind of ridicules trans people to an extent.
Actually, I think what you said ridicules trans people, because actually people who go through the full process of transition, who actually go through what we used to call a sex change, which I don't think you can muck around with original biology, but those who actually go through surgical procedure over a number of years, I've got great respect for that very difficult journey they go on. I have zero respect for people who just wallop their hand up and go, suddenly, I'm a woman and I want all the rights that a woman has and I want to compete, say, in sport. I'm a 6'4" athlete, sprinter, swimmer, whatever, who's competed very mediocrely in male sport. I now want to come in and crush women in swimming pools and in sprinting events and break all their records, perhaps irrevocably, just by saying, I'm a woman. I think that is the absurdity you were talking about. You as a woman, how comfortable do you feel about someone who, until last year, was a gay man of 25, suddenly, without any surgery, starts doing TikTok videos saying, I'm now into womanhood and I'm a girl, on a journey to being a girl, and then does a Nike ad for sports bras for women, despite not having any breasts, and more importantly, mocks the way women do sport if you look at it as a misogynist.
That's ridiculous.
It's not.
That is ridiculous. She's not mocking the way that we
She
do
was.
sport. And also, can I just say that was really rude from your other guest? I don't know what her name is, but Dylan, she's a she. I don't understand why you'd need to open up your commentary with that. You're obviously appealing to a certain
Well, she
rhetoric,
would like
fine,
to
that's your
identify
business.
now as a she.
Yeah, just leave
Right.
her alone.
But
Just
until
leave her
last year,
alone.
she was a he.
But look, importantly,
and then she was a non.
on
Hang on,
your
Ava.
point.
Ava, it's complicated
Piers,
keeping
you
up.
asked me a question.
I know, but it's complicated keeping up with these people. Like Sam Smith, who was a gay man, then he was non-binary, then he was gender fluid.
Yeah.
Now I have no idea what he is, other than he dresses up like Satan half the time. I don't know what Dylan Mulvaney really is, other than a lot of women, particularly in America, have taken great exception to the way Dylan Mulvaney mocks women, female behaviour, because they believe that Dylan Mulvaney is a biological man.
Listen, the anti-trans movement in America is very different to what it is in Britain. In Britain, feminists claim that it's because they're worried about men invading their spaces. Fine, whatever. In America, it's a conservative movement, and it's because they don't believe that that trans women fit into society. And it's all out of this pent-up Christian aggression that is quite disgusting.
Yeah, but this is where you're wrong.
Look, I hate how you've opened up this debate and asked me if I find it offensive as a woman or whatever. I don't care. I don't care that Dylan doesn't have breasts and wears sports bras. In the same way that
Why
women
don't
who've
you?
had double mastectomies because of breast cancer don't wear, they wear a sports bra as well. It doesn't bother me what's in people's pants or in people's, bras.
Really?
No, I'm not preoccupied with that.
Do you
I'm really
do you care that
comfortable
Leah
myself.
Thomas, a 6'4" biological male who competed unsuccessfully as a man at swimming, is now winning national championship swimming races against biological females?
I think that's extrapolating the argument.
Do you care?
Because what we're
I
talking
only ask
about
you if
is
you care.
Dylan and whether she's on a beer can.
We're talking
that's
about
a whole other
we're
discussion.
talking about the whole trans issue. My argument to you is, do you care about that?
Piers juggles logic like a seasoned performer, while our woke friend insists reality's just a suggestion.
Why do you think, if you think that gay actors could play straight parts, why only gay actors should play gay parts?
that there is an authenticity to a gay person that can bring to that role. There is a rawness, there is a reality, there is an extra dimension that improves their performance and ability to tell it. And the other thing is that they're underrepresented. You know, too often big Hollywood stars, almost always, are heterosexual. And that's because people buy into actors, not just, you know, between the ad breaks or when they sit in the cinema. They buy into them on a broader scale. And when gay actors are underrepresented in those big roles, the idea that straight people should be playing all the gay characters, I think is wrong.
The great casting conundrum. Only gay actors for gay roles?
At the very least, somebody as woke as J.K. Rowling should not end up with a hashtag RIP J.K. Rowling. That is the kind of illiberal fascism, which is the very thing that wokies claim that they detest most in genuine fascists.
But you keep saying wokies, and I keep saying this only works on the trans issue. So give me some examples from other areas. Who's been cancelled? Who's been cancelled
on the trans issue?
No, I've read your book.
I'll give you an example. Radical feminists who want James Bond to be a woman.
Right.
Oh, lack of representation? Sure, because the only way to fix it is turning James Bond into a diversity TED Talk.
You think making James Bond a woman is a slight difference?
It's a slight difference. Let me say, it just got teeth.
Can I talk? And we can agree to disagree that maybe they should not necessarily replace traditional white straight male characters. Fine. Okay. We can have those takes. But the issue here is
or female, like Mary Poppins.
For one group, right? For one group, everybody, you have so much opportunity and access to create so many different films. So, okay, if you don't like this James Bond, you can create another one. But there's no other options for certain other characters and roles in Hollywood. We're starting to see a diversity, and I want to say the past 10 years where we've seen this increase, and any slight change of difference, it seems to be held.
I don't agree. I don't agree. Honestly, there are so many.
There's more options now than any time in the past. There's 600 shows this year. 600 shows. There's plenty of representation. There's a lot of over-representation going on in Hollywood right now. And why do we... yeah.
No, he's right. No, seriously, if you watched a TV.
Well, hang on.
With 600 shows, Hollywood's got more diversity than a bag of Skittles. But hey, let's keep counting.
Hey, don't talk at once. Nedrotic first. Finish that point, then come to Esther.
So if we go to the 4% gay population in America, 4 or 5%, something like that, where it's really at, it's not 30 Gen Z. What's the representation in Hollywood? Do you think gays are underrepresented in Hollywood? I don't think so. I don't think there's any chance of that. That's never been the case, by the way. And that's just one example. What we're talking about, it's interesting that the person who wrote the case for cancel culture is going, why do you care about something? Why do you care? I find that curious.
That is truly ironic.
Is because it's culture telling us 2 + 2 = 5 when you're trying to race swap and gender swap James Bond. It's not everything we care about. It's James effing Bond.
Yes.
It's one character, which sounds like activists. It's something the activists want to take away, which is something that.
And by the way, it would be like Esther.
For a long time.
Yeah, and Esther, it would be like if I said,
right James Bond.
Hang on, Ernest. Esther, it would be like me suddenly saying, okay, you know what? For the sequel of Black Panther, I want it to be a white guy.
Well, yeah, and you know, that's what I was.
Can you imagine what Ernest would say if I suggested that?
Well, but the point is, it always moves in one direction. You're not trying to replace characters of ethnic minorities. They're always trying to replace the white, usually male characters. There's a reason why I didn't play Memoirs of a Geisha, because I'm not Japanese, right? And if I did, everyone would have lost their minds because they're like, why are you having this black girl play a Memoir of a Geisha? But somehow, you know, we can make James Bond Janet Bond, which is crazy. And on the point that there's no over-representation, you watch a TV ad here in Britain and you think you're in Brazil. I mean, you don't see like a straight white couple anywhere. It's always a mixed race couple, for example, or it's always a sort of a black woman and a ginger man. And it's just like, where did you find this?
And that's where we'll leave it for now. If you enjoyed this discussion, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one.